Today I'm going to be analyzing the book The Dreamhouse. So first of all, I just want to give a basic overview of the storyline. There was a boy named Look Smart, and he was an African boy who grew up on a farm with a white couple named Richard and Patricia. In the past, Patricia had given birth to a stillborn, so her baby died as it was born, and now she actually sees Look Smart as sort of a son figure. There was another girl on the farm whose name was Grace. Now, her and Look Smart were involved. Look Smart loved her dearly, and what he did not know about her was that Richard was actually raping her and sleeping with her for money. And at one point in the story, she got pregnant and she told Richard, who was the man in the couple whose farm they were living on, and he set a dog loose in order to kill her because he didn't want to have to deal with the fact that she was having his baby. Now, when this happened, Patricia didn't necessarily do all that she could in order to save Grace's life. While she was bleeding, all that she was concerned about, or seemed to be concerned about, was her clean car seats, and she didn't want to get her car seats dirty with the blood. So here we could see that she did not prioritize Grace's life. She was prioritizing her car seats, which is such a shallow thing compared to somebody's life. And this actually caused Look Smart to hate her because Grace died and he placed some of the blame on Patricia. So now if we fast forward to 10 to 15 years later, Look Smart is now a grown man and he is part of the development team that is taking over Dwaleni Farm. Now, Dwaleni Farm is the land that the couple owns, and they are actually packing up all their things and moving to Durban because this construction team is taking over their farm, and Look Smart is a part of that team. Now, Look Smart and Patricia have not spoken since he left the farm, which was 10 to 15 years earlier, and since he left, he has carried a deep hate for Patricia for not prioritizing Grace's death. And this has also scarred her because he was not talking to her, and she saw him as a son to herself, so she was very sad when he cut off all communication with her and left the farm. When he comes to chat to her, he tells her why he was so angry and mad and about Grace's death and his view on what she should have done and what she didn't do. And while they have this conversation, he also expresses the fact that he thought that they were very racist while he was living on the farm. So now that I've gone through a very basic storyline of the story, I'm going to go into depth about each of the themes and the events that happen. So I think that the major theme in this story is one of truth. What it tries to show us is that there is not one truth. Everybody has a different perspective, therefore they all have their own truths, and maybe if you string everybody's truths in a situation together, you will get one truth that is correct. And this is basically what they try to say about Grace's death and the fact that Patricia has her own truth and so does Look Smart, so does Richard, but neither one of them is correct. But if you put them all together, we can get a fuller story of what happened. If we look at Patricia's truth, we know that she sees what happened to Grace as an accident. She thinks that the dog killed Grace because Grace was making fun of it and refers to this as a whole sorry affair. So this implies that she didn't think it was Richard's fault or Grace's, that it was just an accident. Also, what we need to remember here is that she had no idea that Richard was raping Grace until later on in the story. And this could actually be why she sees what happened to Grace as an accident, because she didn't think that Richard had any motive for wanting to kill Grace. Just an important thing to remember is that the things that I put in inverted commas are direct quotes from the story, and I've included very easy ones, so try to learn all of them off by heart, and when you're writing your essay, include maybe like 3 or 4 in every single paragraph that you write. Now, if we look at Look Smart's version of the truth, we know that he thought that Richard murdered Grace. We know that he believes that Richard set the dog on Grace in order to kill her, and that Patricia didn't help in any way because she cared more about keeping her car seats clean than saving Grace. Look Smart also did not know that Richard was sleeping with Grace. Grace didn't tell him because she thought that he might think that she loved him less because she was sleeping with another man, even though it was rape. she still thought it looked bad on her part. So Look Smart just thought that Richard killed Grace because he was racist. So because Patricia cared more about her car seats than Grace, Look Smart thinks that Patricia sees Grace as less than human. And that is also a reference to how things were during apartheid, where African people were seen as less superior than white people. And that is exactly how Patricia was treating Grace in this situation. Now, if we look at Beauty's side of the story, her truth, it is probably the most correct because she experienced the racism from the couple, especially from Richard, because she basically looked after him in their house. And she also knew that Grace was being raped by Richard, so she knew more than Patricia and Look Smart. This is how Beauty knew that Richard did not kill Grace, or he did not set the dog on Grace because he was a racist and he wanted to kill an African person, but because she was having his baby and he didn't want anybody to know that he was raping her. Another thing that's important to note here is that Beauty thought Look Smart was like a boy in his heart, which means that he's very soft and he was super in love with Grace. So she did not tell him that she knew that Richard was raping her, or that she was sleeping with him because he was paying her, which is essentially rape, because she was very young. And she didn't tell Look Smart this because she didn't want him to think that Grace loved him any less because she was sleeping with Richard.